Hello and welcome Battleforge community. Today I'm back with another replay between Prince of Liar and Ano. So this was a ranked PvP match between two highly rated players. Prince of Liar currently the highest rated Frost tier 1 player in the ladder, or at least Frost tier 1 main, let's say it like that, since there are other people who also play Frost in the ladder, but he's basically the only one who's really maining Frost 2-1. On the other hand, we got Ano here playing with Shadow 2-1 this game. Currently also, I think, rank 11 with pretty decent stats, 100 wins to 25 losses. So yeah, those two played lots of ranked games against each other in the last days. And from what I've heard, it went kind of equal. So both sharing the same amount of wins. And this was a really close and exciting game, I think. And therefore, I want to show it. So we see Master Archers going to the left here because, of course, this power well here pretty safe to take and short distance and so on. In the meantime, Ano is using the aggressive approach by starting the Dread Charger, taking the center here, and of course, if Ano ends up winning a fight, then he can just march over to the left side here, take this power well, and then he basically has the Frost player locked out of the map. And this is why Prince of Liar already spawns a second squad of Master Archers and a third one as well, because he really wants to defend this spot over here and does not want to lose it for free. If you play way too passively, like hovering around your main base, you might see power well with a tower or something like that. That might be hard to defend against, or it might be hard to attack from that spot. So yeah, at this point in time, both players not really committing for a full engage. Prince of Liar wants to secure this spot, and Ano kind of waits for a little bit more power to get some Dread Charges on the field. So right now he's trying to force Prince of Liar away from that position. He sees that Ano has lots of Dread Charges invested here. So he is kind of sure that Ano does not just take tier 2 over here for free. Which is something that could be threatening to Frost, because, as I said, if you lose this position over here, you lost map control, and then there's no way to come back. But at this point in time, there are lots of Dread Charges, so Prince of Liar is pretty sure that Ano cannot attack him that well. Also trying to delay with a wall, so very, very defensive play on that side. And trying to run around, probably attacking this spot over here. So why is Prince of Liar this defensive? So to give a reasoning for this is usually Master Archers only work in large numbers against Dread Chargers, because those Dread Chargers are S counters, so they deal 50% bonus damage against the Master Archers, of course, and therefore are more effective on low numbers because they are more efficient in head-to-head combat. But if there are lots of Master Archers on the field, like 9 units, 10 units or something like that, there is an advantage for the Master Archers because those are ranged units, which enables cleaner focus fire, the ranged advantage. So one Dread Charger usually dies before they actually reach the Master Archers in combat, and on top of that, they are easier to micro away from the Dread Chargers once the fight starts. And also there are support spells like Home Soil and Wintertide that can be extremely dangerous to Shadow. And at that point in time, Ano takes second well, which is pretty dangerous from my point of view, because there are 10 Master Archers, and Ano cannot defend both positions with the tower, so this fight is forced. Glyph of Frost here is 2 Dread Chargers getting frozen, not the best, but also not the worst glyph. And at that point in time, this Master Archer squad should be able to win this fight. Home Soil, full buffed, and yeah, that looks really good for those Master Archers. Three Dread Chargers left, and there are still 9 Master Archers. Even though lots of them took some damage, that should be more than enough to punish this position. So if you want to well up as Shadow into Frost, you usually should take just one position or 2 positions that are quite close, because right here you can see the lifestealer. If you took a second power well over here, that would have been much more much easier to defend, because right now Prince of Liar is ignoring this tower and just going for the power well on the top, which is the idea of this. So at that point in time, Ano just realized that he cannot defend this power well anymore, so he tries to use his remaining power to make pressure and maybe get a power well trade. And at that point in time, those Master Archers are finishing this power well, and these ones are already walking down the road here to clear this incoming attack. So Forsaken being played to get a certain damage increase onto the power well. He cannot only use dread charges for two reasons. First of all, this power well can only attack by a fixed number of dread charges. I think it usually is 4 or 3, depends on how the power well is placed. On top of that, I think the dread charger charges are quite low at that point in time. This is capped at 12, and therefore that should be used already at that point in time. So we see tier 2 by Ano to stop those master archers at some point in time, and responded by a tier 2 of Stonekin. And yeah, this power well only gave 57 power at this point in time, so Prince of Liar ahead in this situation here. This lifestealer ended up getting destroyed again because it binds 50 power, and yeah, if you cannot use this effectively, it is not too good, because that would enable Prince of Liar to just take a power well and play a little safe and stay up a power well for basically forever. And yeah, so Ano taking this second power well on the side here, which is a very aggressive approach. So the idea behind this is that Prince of Liar has lots of bound power into those master archers, which can be defended by tier 2 units quite well. And yeah, I think still that would have been attackable. I'm not sure, but even though I get the idea, but I think this is a very, very risky call. So Prince of Liar responding with a Crystal Fiend here to heal up all those damaged Master Archers, and also taking a power well over here. So this is a very dangerous position, of course, for Ano here, since yeah, Razor Shots can attack the area. So there's a Night Guard probably trying to aim for the Crystal Fiend in the backline. So it's now should get rooted by Prince of Liar if he reacts well. Yeah, he does. Nice reaction here. And now this Razor Shot can attack over the cliff, which is really powerful, but yeah, didn't get microed probably because he was busy with the Night Guard or something. But yeah, that is a good trade for Ano at that point in time. Those Shadow Mages can obviously deal lots of damage to the Razor Shot, so he really needs to make sure that those mages get annihilated before he gets to set up the cliff position. So third power well for Ano at that point in time, so still lots of bound power into those Master Archers, so Prince of Liar trying to attack, while Ano is trying to get an economy advantage by welling up in this situation. But now you can see this Crystal Fiend in the back line, really safe from any like Nightcrawler Nasty or Night Guard, healing up all those Master Archers and the Razor Shot here, using the crowd control onto the Shadow Mages here to make sure that a lot of pressure is applied. And yeah, up to this point, Prince of Liar quite ahead in this game. And yeah, that Razor Shot still getting destroyed. And yeah, that is with those Master Archers over here, that is kind of the thing that's at that point in time that slows Prince of Liar down by a little bit, because they do not really trade effectively. This power well seems to be out of range. I'm not sure if they can really focus it. I don't think so. And yeah, Ano is up one power well at that point in time. So as long as he holds the position, it is okay for him. But of course you need to consider that also Shadow Mages are charge capped by 12, so once he uses up all of those charges, it will be hard to defend this position. Still, there are options of Aura of Corruption, so yeah, those motivated Shadow Mages end up cleaning the area for now. And now it's just about saving all those mages, because a lot of them dropped already. So 2 Razor Shots at that point in time. It's very important to split up those mages constantly, because if you keep them up close together, those Razor Shots will deal a lot more damage. They have a really large splash damage, which is incredibly high, like 150%. So once those units are clumped up, exactly this happens here right now. 2 units rooted together, and they will deal a lot. They will take a lot of extra damage from those Razor Shots. And that was like a beautiful trade for Prince of Liar here. Now you can see how annoying these things can get over the cliff. So yeah, Aura of Corruption, basically the last choice of clearing those 3. Buffed with Home Soil and all those things. Really hard to get them down. Even with the Aura of Corruption, this power well ends up dropping, but it is kind of okay, because Ano was up a power well for quite some time. Now he had to spawn lots of Nightcrawlers, and he killed 2 of the Razor Shards, and yeah, trying to apply some pressure on both sides here with them. Nightcrawler is not the best unit into Stonekin because Stone Shards are extremely effective into Beasts. In the meantime, Prince of Light trying to set up a double Borrower split attack on the right, so yeah, trying to defend with a Razor Shard, which works quite nicely, and a beautiful root here. And all those units are clumped up, so this Razor Shard will deal full splash damage. In the meantime, Shadow Mage very good against Borrowers in defense due to the M knockback, which works out quite nicely. So both attacks end up getting defended quite efficiently, but Ano losing all his units on the side here, so still a better trade for Prince of Liar. And yeah, that is the next move by Ano with the Harvester trying to clear those 3. Oh, this Nether Warp did not. Oh, it did work. Never mind. But not as intended, because I think he wanted to get those Spirit Hunters close to the Harvester, so he gets to clear them out. There's a Razor Shard getting ported as well because it left the ranged stance, and yeah, now this Harvester pretty hard to deal with for just those Razor Shards, and the Shadow Mage just joined the fight again. So at that point in time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units on the side of Ano. He really needs to make sure that he can split his army at some point, because the Razor Shards, if they get in range, it will be really dangerous. Trying to snipe them off with a root, but because they were clumped up at that point in time, but the Razor Shards are not in range. In the meantime, the Shadow Mage, again, really effective against those Borrowers, and there are still 2 units in the main base, not really reacting to this Harvester that got teleported just towards this power well. And at that point in time, very important power well kick for Ano. So if he defends this area here, he made a good step back into this game. So this is getting oinked. So pretty hard to defend this now. Teleport should be on cooldown. No, it's not. No, it's not. 70 HP. So this world's still alive. And this Shadow Mage is attacking those Borrowers, while the Harvester ends up being alive for now. Glyph of Frost, really nicely placed, really important to catch this Harvester, get the poison on top of it. So this attack ended up getting defended. So by now, Ano is up 1 power well again, which is really interesting. But now those units start moving up to the center again. This Harvester finally got defended, but you can see the power pool from Ano here. It's already at 270, so the next Harvester is about to be played. 320. But yeah, Borrower attack from the side, and therefore Ano decides to go for some additional unit spawns here. And also repaired the power well, of course, which was at 70 HP, so that took a big chunk of power at that point in time. And you can see how effective our Shadow Mages are at defending those Borrowers. And yeah, really nice clear on the side over here. And at that point in time, Prince of Liar really needs to think about his next move, because he's down 1 power well for quite some time right now. And yeah, now he's trying to attack those power wells with the Razor Shots here, rooting all those units out of range. So Ano ends up responding with a lot of corruption to force them away from that spot, and tries to buy some tempo. In the meantime, those units were still isolated by this crowd control here, and yeah, the other ones cannot join to help due to the aura. Another Harvester spawn here into the mix. Right now aiming for those Spirit Hunters and the Crystal Fiend. Pretty important to remove those, because Spirit Hunters deal a lot of damage over time, of course, if they switch targets, and this Crystal Fiend just generates way too much healing value. So the defensive Nether Warp here to make sure this Crystal Fiend gets close, so the Harvester can attack and finish it off. But yeah, a lot of units on the ground here. doing a good job at defending this Harvester, so this trade is still very efficient here for Prince of Liar, considering that there was another warp, 2 buffs here for the Harvester, Unholy Power and Life Weaving. That won't do too much at that point in time. So Prince of Liar taking a power well here on the side, so he has a better chance of supporting. But there's one hit from the Harvester with 2 corpse explosions. The first one was enough, but still nice power well kick here. And trying to deflect this counterattack with our of corruption. And another nether warp here. So now it's interesting to see how many power wells drop before this ends up getting cleared. Maybe with a corpse explosion, yeah, the aura damage killed something, and ooh, that was really nice. So corpse explosion into aura of corruption. that was quite a nice clear. Still lost 1 power well on the end, and now both players are on 3 power wells. Still trading quite evenly here. And now Prince of Liar with 2 power wells. So he's kind of forcing this power well sync at that point in time. Mostly because he's playing without tier 3. And yeah, this kind of, for 3 minutes and 20 seconds, this lowers the void level and kind of delays tier 3 a little bit, because we are already 50 minutes into the game, so there's a lot of void income here, which would allow a strong tier 3. And yeah, it's really hard to get through pure Shadow tier 3 with Stonekin, because Void Storm is just a global map clear, which can deal very efficiently with those split Barrow attacks that are happening right now against the tier 2. Mountaineer, 2 Barrows, and a Harvester in the defense here. So probably trying to make sure that that he can counterattack once this attack is cleared with full efficiency. But yeah, first power well dropped already here with this attack. And it looks like the second one is in danger too. Another peel here. Those Shadow Mages really doing a good job at CCing the Borrowers, but yeah, it's still a lot of pressure. And yeah, that power well got saved by another warp and the immediate auto heal. And yeah, this Mountaineer ends up getting destroyed. Crowd control onto the Harvester, making sure those Borrowers have more time to get onto those power wells. In the meantime, on the top, this trade looks quite nicely for Aino for now. Those Borrowers ended up getting cleared. These Dark doesn't die, but the Sprint Hunters will get killed by the Shadow Mage. In the meantime, this Harvester now is on top of the Borrowers, making sure they get cleared. But in the end, this power well getting destroyed. I think there was also a Hurricane. Not sure if you want to prevent the repair, the auto repair from the power wells, because it always deals like 10 damage per tick for quite some time. Or if it just was to finish it off. Like, I didn't see how many HP were left. But yeah, at that point in time, there are a lot of power wells that dropped on Aino's side. There still is a Harvester, and there still is power to play second Harvester. So right now, Aino really needs to make up for the loss of power wells. And Prince of Liar is still using those ice barriers here, the spawn presence, to immediately put down some pressure onto those power wells here with the stone shards, which is really nice, because that ends up working out. And this power dropped, and at that point, Aino back on just 2 powers. This Harvester is getting close though, and since Prince of Liar invested a lot of power to attack this power well on the bottom, the Harvester here is really dangerous. And the second one is probably walking down to the main base. He doesn't want to have them on a single spot, because he usually wants to run around 2 positions to avoid crowd control on both targets. Glyph of Frost very nicely timed just when the CC immunity ran out for the duration reduction. So this one getting slowed down by Glyph of Frost, this one with an Ensnaring Roots. And with a Homestall, a really good defense onto this Harvester. Ends up dropping here. Those Stone Shards still attacking on the top, but now ended up getting cleared. Nice Corpse Explosion though, removing 3 Storm Singers and with the Spirit Hunters, also using Nightcrawler here to apply some pressure onto that power. But with those counter units removed, Aino is deciding to get back to the top here. In the meantime, another unit spawn and then a split attack onto the orb over here. This power ends up dropping really low. Another answering roots to delay the harvest, of course, and no counter unit spawned up to now, so this orb's still under a lot of pressure. Using the harvest ability with the skeleton warriors here, and also close defense on the bottom here, this power well down to 265 HP. Now the respawns, the resummons are coming here to defend. Oink gets used onto the harvester on the top side here, so not available to support the attack over here. I think it would have been better to support this attack, so both players ended up trading orbs, because this one drops at that point in time. But still successful attack on the other side. So both players back into their tier 1. So Frost tier 1 against Shadow tier 1 right now again. And this Harvester's still alive, so I'm not sure how much power Ain't does have, a lot less, I guess. But with tier 1, this Harvester's hard to defend. And I'm not sure if Prince of Light does have the Light Blade here. Does not look like that, because that would have been a tool to buy some time. But right now, this Harvester making sure that those wells get destroyed quite quickly. So Ano up on 3 power wells right now, Prince of Liar on 2, but consider that Prince of Liar was up in he was up in power wells for quite some time. So that's not the biggest issue here. And yeah, lots of Master Archers here being played to do something against the Harvester with a Frostbite and so on, to slow him down with the Glyph of Frost, with the Frostbite and all those things, so it does not get close to the monument here. Lots of units streaming in though, to make sure that a good trade happens. And Prince of Liar now taking the power well on the bottom here to apply more pressure with undazed spawns. He still had those ice barriers there, I think. And another Mountaineer here now with a very close distance towards this power well, which means that there's no Night Guard that can come in time. There it is, but it will be too late, I think, to defend this power well with an Ensnaring Roots or Kobold or Curse of Oink. This should be a dead power. That will be destroyed. In the meantime, Ano taking another power well here to heal up his units. Still kind of risky to invest a lot in defending here while taking another power well, which will be 100 power removed out of the pool. I'm not sure how long these Forsaken end up standing here, but they also bind 50 power, of course. Aura of Corruption trying to defend this. There's 170 power, so not enough to play another Harvester. And yeah, at that point in time, now Aura is on cooldown, and this did not get defended. But in the meantime, trying to apply pressure onto the tier 2 orb here, so Prince of Liar kind of forced to invest more energy over here. But this Razor Shot will be able to knock back those units again. And now this Monument is under a lot of pressure, and this Aura should be still on cooldown. So Harvester getting played to defend this. Yeah, this attack completely defended. And also trying to use Nether Warp, most likely to get units closer to the Harvester, some range units, so we can attack in melee range again. And yeah, trying to clear those counter units, but at that point in time, this Mountaineer is able to finish off the Monument, so Ano back to tier 1. And in the meantime, there's a Borrower and a Spirit Hunter, most like this Borrower is the more defensive tool, that will attack the power well on the left side, but it's kind of stuck here. That's unfortunate. So still some units on the ground. It's a lot of things that those players need to be aware of, as those two stone shards are really dealing lots of damage to the power well, and this Mountaineer kind of keeping the Harvester busy. Ano trying to set up a tier 2 again, but it will be way too late to defend those power wells, so he ends up losing a Monument and 2 power wells, so back to just one well right now. So great position here for Prince of Liar again. And yeah, this Mountaineer trying to do damage to the Harvester. This Glyph of Frost is supposed to zone the Harvester away, so they cannot get close to the Mountaineer. Was about to die, I guess. And yeah, with the 300 bound power over here, this power well is on the left is quite weak, because Ano does not have the power income anymore to play an Aura of Corruption or something, and now he's down to just 1 power well, and this Harvester getting rooted. Night Guard swap coming in, but it won't be enough to save the Harvester. So Prince of Liar right now in the control of the game. Finally, it took some time. It's like 24 minutes into the game already. So considering that this game easily could have run to the 3 minutes, we had to look at the score. And right now, Ano is ahead in score, like by no, he's not. The Prince of Liar is ahead in score by 600 power. Still rather close. But yeah, this is quite hard to defend. Shadow Mage charges should be gone by now for sure. So it's often an issue that you cannot play the appropriate counter units that you usually want to play in those situations. And also two attacks uh, getting played on those sides, making sure that the Aura of Corruption cannot clear the entire army. And at that point in time, Anu ends up surrendering this game, since there was no way to stop those two Stonkin armies anymore. Really nice and close game from my point of view. I think if Ano ends up um, dropping that power, if he just forfeits the power position on the right, where the Aura of Corruption didn't achieve anything and then kind of led to a chain, uh, to a big chain where like the monument dropped, two power words dropped afterwards. That game could have been maybe won, not sure. It was really close for sure. And I think it would have been a 30-minute game if this thing doesn't happen. Um, but yeah, really amazing game from my point of view, with a very interesting tier 2 matchup for 25 minutes here. So I hope you liked the video, and thanks for watching, and see you in the next match.